What's up, man?
How are you, bro?
How are you doing?
Honestly, hungover is all hell. Thanks for checking out Party Like a Rockstar podcast. I'm your host, Joel Miller. Today's episode is brought to you by Misha's Kind Foods. They're an LA-based small business making the world's finest non-dairy cheese spreads on the market today. They're delicious and healthy, made from a cashew and almond milk, and blended with various locally sourced fresh herbs, vegetables, and spices. There's no vegetable oils, soy, fillers, starches, or nutritional yeast. It's lactose-free, paleo, keto, kosher, Parev, and 100% vegan. Enjoy the show. All right, I'm just going to intro you guys since I never did, and I'll put it in the front of the thing. So today I'm bringing on two of the guys from the Unlikely Candidates. Kyle, who's the singer, and Cole, the guitar player.
What's up, guys?
All right, cool. All right, so we'll just see where it goes. That's good.
Oh, to be in a classic rock band.
The good old days.
In their heyday.
I wonder, you're talking 50s, I think, with these guys. So what would it have been like? How different than now, They're probably carrying their own fucking shit on the stage still. Well, not at Little Richard's level, but
probably not that. I don't know. Was everything more innocent back then? Like
I don't think so.
Probably not.
I don't think so either. Because think about it, back in my day. But the older we all get, I'm a little older than you guys, but the older we all get, I think that's all horseshit. I think it was all the same for every generation. That's all.
You're probably right.
Yeah. The only difference now is you can write a song in your bedroom and you can have it up on the internet in a couple days and not have to pay a bunch of money. I don't know how good the quality will be, but it ain't that bad either. So the accessibility is different.
It is absolutely true. Yeah.
So like with the CCR guy, he was talking about Payola, and you really had to get him with the radio stations or you weren't doing shit. You weren't going to get
that shit's crazy.
I've heard some stories about that stuff, man, where people would buy like houses and like
talk to some guy who bought somebody's like daughter a wedding, like
paid for the wedding.
Literally paid for the wedding. Like maybe it was like the honeymoon. It bought like hot tubs, like just all kinds of stuff.
Wonder how long they were married for.
to get to number one, like he had to pay for this like wedding or honeymoon or whatever, and he did it, and they got to number one.
Who was it?
Are we allowed to tell?
I don't remember.
It was fucking U2.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Paid for a fucking wedding. I wonder how long they were married for. You didn't even pay for this wedding, you cheap bastard. Bono did.
Probably longer than U2 stayed number one.
Yeah.
Well, they did okay, I think, outside of the wedding and the spa and whatnot. I think they did pretty good, those dudes.
They're doing all right. Yeah.
They did all right. Actually, that's kind of interesting. So they came out with that once. I'm not a huge U2 fan, to be honest. I don't know that much about them, but I did tour with the Cranberries. And I asked Dolores, well, so did you guys do shows together? And she was like, no. We were both way too big to be on the same bill. I'm like, fuck, you guys are that big? Who knew, right?
Yeah, that makes sense. How many times did you rock out to Zombie every night?
So I had been touring with like Godsmack and Disturbed and these testosterone driven bands, and then I remember walking out on the stage and she's all do 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 do, and the whole crowd are honestly a lot of like lesbians, and everybody's like yay. And I just started laughing going, life is a fucking trip,
Different world, man. Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's like mosh pit to like chill vibe with lighters in the air. So
which one did you appreciate more? I'm sure after Disturb you appreciated that change of pace a little bit.
Yeah, it was cool to just the vary up the stuff, so
yeah.
Like with Disturbed, I was working with the Stone Temple Pilots, so with Disturbed I became a fan of them. I wasn't a fan before I Yeah, and then the guys were cool. It's really easy to like a band when you like the dudes playing the music every night, and then Next thing you know, you're singing their song. And you're like, oh,
yeah,
shit.
you're like, all the B sides and C sides, and
you
you're
see
like
them every night, the whole set.
Yeah.
You know?
Every
Even
night.
if you're in the other room, you hear it. You know,
What's hard is when you don't like the music and you're hearing it every night, and you're like, God, man, I can't believe I got to listen to this shit again.
I don't think that's happened to us. I think all the bands we end up going on tour with, like, we like their stuff.
Who have you guys toured with?
We've done Blue October, Dirty Heads, Fallout Boy, The Score, Goo Goo Dolls.
The Goo Goo Dolls, so I did Guns N' Roses for New Year's Eve, and Axl hadn't played in, I think it was like 12 years or something, like long time. Right. And we were at the Joint. Have you guys played at the Joint in Vegas?
I don't think
so. All right, so we're at the smaller venue it is, and so the Goo Goo Dolls go on, and I'm thinking the Goo Goo Dolls with Guns N' Roses, you know? So the Goo Goo Dolls go on, and then they kick them out, and everybody gets out, and then they come in, and they have this straight like disco. And then the hours are passing. I figured Guns would go on at midnight because it's New Year's Eve. It's like 2:30, 3 o'clock in the fucking morning. They kick everybody out in the disco, and then Guns is the next one. It was a really weird evening of just like, who's running this shit, you know?
Yeah, it seems like some Guns N' Roses stuff. They probably had to like corral Axl out of the casino or something.
Well, I was wondering, yeah, because you know they're famous for not going on until they feel like it. Yeah, it's like 2:30 in the morning, and then some of the guys in the band finally show up, and you're kind of like, are they going to go on like at 5? I think they did. I think they finished. I remember watching the sunrise when we were loading out, and just thinking like, wow, what a trip. But the honest truth is they kicked ass. They were really good. So,
really? Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so it was cool. I huh?
How was his voice?
Yeah, it was honestly.
Tough, man. They shriek like, you know, like banshees their entire youth, and then like you're like, there's no way that's gonna hold up.
It's hard, yeah. I mean, the thing is when you're a fan, and I'm still a fan. You know, I remember I saw John Lee Hooker play, and he was so old. They help him get on the stage and sit him down, and you know he isn't going to do anything that good because the guy can't even like walk. So you're thinking, how good is he going to be? But he sits down and he puts the glasses on, the black glasses, and I'm like, don't even make the guy play. That was great. Here's my $50. You know, that was fucking awesome. So when you're a fan, I don't know, watching. You know, it was Axl, different guys, but watching everybody was like the closest thing I could get to watching this band that I thought was really fucking cool. I loved Guns, and I thought they were really good. I think he did a pretty good job, but you guys know it. I mean, it's very easy to criticize. You know, I watched briefly your interview that you did, and the guy was talking to you about like singing on stage or performing on stage, and you're forgetting the words, and you're like, you just fucking roll with it. And
don't stop is the rule.
That's the rule. Just keep going. What do you make up? What lines?
If you stop, then everybody realizes. If not, you just, you know, I mean, like, you'll catch people in the audience who like really know it, and they'll be like, tilting their head, like, I'm like, don't ruin it for me. Guys, I'll find my way back.
You know, I did a show in Brazil, Rock in Rio, with Papa Roach, right? So Papa Roach and Jacoby we partied hard, man. And we were at the pool, and we just partied all day. And so at the gig, I remember watching him on the TV, and I'm like, I can't believe this guy's going to be able to sing through this set. I mean, he's so fucked up. And he turns around at one point and he pukes. But he finished the set, and the record label people, man, they were furious. Everybody's really mad because, you know, we've been down in Rio for like, I don't know, a week or something, just partying our fucking asses off. It was the Papa Roaches guy, the Guns dudes, and the Foo Fighters all in the pool every day. And I wrote in my book, the only thing that changed were like the girls and the drugs. You know, I don't know. I was like, it was this crazy time. It was really cool. But my thought of it, and the reason I bring it up, is people want their own individual experience at a show. You know, we say the same shit every night. You know, thank you, Houston. When we don't even fucking know we're in Houston until the guy just tells you you're in Houston. But you changing the lyrics or whatever because you're like, I don't fucking know. That's an individual experience.
Special, yeah, I'm totally stealing that from now on. I just wanted to give you guys a unique experience of me not remembering these specific, like I created jazz magic on that stage tonight, you know? I said things that weren't said before.
You'll never hear it again.
I'll never do it till tomorrow night. Like make up new words that I don't remember.
Well, I remember I remember like with Guns, we had a teleprompter. And I remember first thinking, like, how could he not remember the words to like Mr. Brownstone, you know? But I kind of get it now that I'm getting a little older. we were reading through it, and he's like, "What is it? Welcome to the fucking jungle." I fucking
yeah,
I totally forgot that.
Yeah,
it was good.
Teleprompter would be sick though.
I've heard a lot of bands do that. A lot of the bigger bands.
A lot of them.
Once you have like a discography of like 300 songs, like
yeah, it's just a point of reference you can look down to if you're just kind of like,
especially because they're playing for like 2 hours and shit, you know what I mean?
2 hours plus.
Yeah, like that's just a long time to be doing anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like halfway through that set, I'm thinking about what I'm gonna eat later. Like if I like wash my clothes for tomorrow, like maybe what, like, yeah, you know what I mean? Like that's a long time. That's a long time to hold attention. So it makes sense why they have those prompters to me.
It's funny, like to take a break. You go into like the changing room and you're like, okay, I need to do my laundry. Can you go do my laundry and everything? I'll go back out there and sing like, you know, in a second here. Just do you guys have stage fright at all?
Not anymore, man. If I have stage fright, that's how I know it's going to be a great show, because I can take that extra energy and then just turn it into something. So I know if I'm nervous about a show that I'm about to have a really good one.
Cool.
Because it doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah, I've had a couple people tell me it's like Barbara Streisand's real famous. Like she didn't tell me, but she's very famous for having really heavy duty stage fright. She doesn't like performing live, which is kind of crazy to me. I don't remember working for a band where they were afraid to go on stage. They were sort of like, yeah, let's go. So
there's some people, what's it, Maynard used to like turn his back to the crowd. Like, I get it, man. Yeah. Like, you're looking out there, thousands of people that you don't know staring at you, waiting for what you're gonna do.
Something cool.
Yeah, especially when it's not.
Look up those lines, like you did last night. That was great.
Like, who do we open for? We open for the Offspring and Sublime, and like their fans are like, I mean, they're like, there's definitely some crossover between us and them, but mostly it's a more older punk rock.
They were there for them for sure.
Yeah, they were not there for us, so we really had to like. You gotta make those moment counts. You gotta win a crowd, which like I love winning a crowd. Like, but yeah, it's
cool to see them not care at first.
It's a little intimidating. I could see some people just like being very intimidated by that. It encourages me. Like, I'll just get more obnoxious and more all over the place to try and win them over to the, like, you know. Once you can make them worry about you, I used to stand on like the edge of the stages and like jump off the monitor stacks. And if you can make people like afraid for you, then you've pretty much got them in your pocket.
Oh, is that the trick? do you do like a balancing act? You're like on top of the monitor, like, just back over there.
I have torn both ligaments in both ankles, and I've broken my foot on stage. So
no way.
It has its downsides.
This was a while back, or this is on one of the big stages?
This was 4 weeks ago. I tore my ligament in my left ankle on stage in Ohio, which, like, enough, same town, 2 years earlier on that tour I'm talking about with Sublime, I broke my foot on stage. Same city.
Same venue.
Yeah, no, not same.
The complex.
Yeah, no.
Okay. So you slipped?
No. I guess so. I was running backwards, smart thing to do. And I flipped over my own body. And as I was flipping, my ankle turned to the side and tore the ligament. And I just popped up. I was like, cool. Of course, I'm 3 songs into like an hour plus set. So
rough.
Hang out here. And then the other time I was just jumping. I think I just needed new shoes, and I jumped up in the air and landed, and I just felt like my foot just like split.
Oh, what about Atlanta too?
Oh yeah, Atlanta wasn't my fault though. That one wasn't my fault. they like had this little stage at some like little fair kind of thing, and they had like, you know, like one of those little loading crates, like the pallets, the wood ones. Somebody had it sticking out from underneath the stage. So when I tried to step off the stage, my foot went onto that pallet and turned all the way sideways. And because I didn't think there was anything there, and then I tore my ligaments.
It's rough, man. When do you guys? I mean, assuming you don't have Marley down, huh? On the stage, you know, Marley's like it's like a wrestling mat basically, and it's just meant to like cushion you a little bit when you jump around.
We need something like that.
Yeah, it's expensive, but like the Chili Peppers had it when I toured with them, and STP had one too, and it cushions you a little bit from cruising around. But I remember when people throw stuff up on the stage, that's the big fear, is you slip on their stupid Coca-Cola and you eat shit. And then I would tell everybody, yeah, but we care too. We're all out of a job. So it's nutty. So you guys been together for about 10 years, is that right?
13.
Yeah.
13.
Us too. Yeah.
Us 13. Yeah.
So 13 years. Novocaine was the first big hit, yeah?
That was it.
And that was how long ago? A couple years?
That was right at the beginning of 2020.
Peak pandemic.
Yeah. So were you like, this is going to be it? We're finally, because you must have said that a few times over 13 years, like, we're going to get one on this one. And was it a big...
Everyone.
Huh? It was our moment, for sure. We were about to like cash in on all the work that we've been putting in our entire career, basically. And it hit #1. And then a week later, the pandemic came. We were supposed to finally make like a lot of like really good money that year. And then just like go home.
It's rough, isn't it? But you're touring now?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a killer song, so you've got time to tour on it. It's not like it would...
It's still on recurring radio charts. It's like the song won't go away. It's like we're trying to push new songs, and Novocaine keeps lingering around. And we're like, you had your time. It's too late. Go away.
You know, it's funny, and people would say that. So like, you know, does so-and-so, are they sick of singing that song? And the truth is, fuck yeah. you know, my big one was... who was it? It was one of the guys I had here. I can't remember who said it, but can you imagine writing a song? Oh, you know what? It was Blessed Union of Soul. And so he wrote a song about his girlfriend, you know, I Believe. And that's like an ex-girlfriend forever ago. Can you imagine writing a song about your ex? And then you got to sing the fucking song for the rest of your career. You still talk to her? No.
I still got him.
Yeah. Or, you know, another one, this was neat. So I saw Neil Diamond play. And it's like a history lesson. He's like, so this song is about my grandmother. It's called Coming to America. And you're like, oh, fuck, you know, this song is my mom. You know, I'm thinking like, oh my God, that was about your mother, you know? So that was really neat.
Daughter, this is my granddaughter.
Just goes down the family tree.
Yeah, this goes out to my daughter's dog, Stu. It was a good one.
That was Neil, though. Was he dope?
Yeah, it was cool, you know. So I'm not a big concert goer, to be real honest. So my buddy had just started dating this girl, and she's like, oh yeah, I could get everybody back there. I'm like, no, this chick can't. It's not that easy to walk 20 fucking people into the Hollywood Bowl. And she did. We all just walked in. I'm like, man, this chick is... So she was his assistant, and it was cool because we were sitting next to his mom. So she's in the wheelchair, and he says, like, this is, you know, this is for my mother. She's out there somewhere. And he starts singing one of his biggest hits. And I'm kind of looking like, wow, that's got to make a mom feel proud. You know, that's really, really neat. But then the other side of it is song after song after song. It's like, you are a machine, you know? How did one guy write this many hits?
Didn't.
Yeah. I mean, he probably
he probably did. He probably wrote a bunch of those. But I'm sure that he had a lot of songwriters that he worked with too.
You think so? I don't know. He's a pretty prolific songwriter. That was his strength. You know, Did you guys watch that Bee Gees documentary?
I haven't watched it yet. I've heard it's amazing.
Cool. It's really good. Yeah, I mean, I'm a pretty big fan. There wasn't too much in there I didn't already know.
I had like 50 people watch it.
It was interesting to see how much like people, they had like the #1 record, the #1 song, everything was just so huge. And then people fucking hated disco, hated them. And it's like, how the fuck we did it, we conquered, and then now you hate us. So it was kind of nuts.
That's crazy. Let me check that out.
Yeah.
They're an interesting band. I remember like a story about them where like, I'm sure it's probably in the documentary already, where they would tell each person to go in their own room and write a chorus, and they just put all the choruses together and then make a Bee Gees song. That's how Bee Gees songs were made. Just 4 different choruses. That's amazing. Maybe
yeah,
it is. If it wasn't a documentary, it may not be true, but I've heard that.
The best part was Justin Timberlake. He's like, they're singing the parts that you could have just played on a saxophone, but they fucking sing it, And that was cool, because when you think of it that way, it made the whole song like different. I'm thinking like, yeah, they're just harmonizing when they could have just busted out a flute. I don't know.
Oh, man, pure talent. You couldn't.
Pretty amazing.
Back in the day, like it was so expensive to record that you really had to be that good to be like a professional musician. You had to be like flawless, because they weren't going to let you do a take after take after take. There was no auto tune or any sort of corrector. You were there because you deserved to be there for the most part.
Yeah, see, I think that's my criticism. I hate auto tune, and as soon as I hear all of that overproducing, I'm like, ugh. And it's like every song though, so it's kind of hard to listen to newer music now because they're all so produced.
Yeah, there's a lot of actually, like, I think some level of auto tuning is probably on everything, pretty much everything now, even if it's just like the tiniest little bit. Obviously, like once it gets to the point where it's stylistic, that's like a whole other thing.
Like T-Pain, that's its own instrument almost.
But yeah, pretty much everything has a little bit of tuning on it.
What are some of the oddest gigs you guys have played, like locations or the strangest shows? Like I can't believe.
We played a Korean church.
That was fun.
Played a buffalo wing restaurant where we were so loud that people were like leaving. I was like, why did you guys have us play here? Like, I literally saw this couple at this table and they're like yelling at their waiter and they're yelling at him and then they're pointing at us and then they're shaking their head and then they're pointing back at him. And they got up and left. And I was like, I'm not even paying attention to what I'm doing now. I'm just watching this play out right now.
We got free wings though.
We did. Those wings good.
Wings are good. I get the
Buffalo. We play this one place in Buffalo and they just like give us like a whole bowl, like a giant silver bowl of wings. It's amazing.
I loved Buffalo. They have that one street where it's just all the restaurants and all the bars and it's just party land. And I thought it was great.
I'll go ahead and say it. Underrated unless it's the winter. And then fuck that. Rated.
Yeah, I remember going through there. I wanted to see Niagara Falls, but you can't because we're working. So it's that close, but so far away. I did go years later, but
You've never seen it.
Driven by it
1,000 times.
I haven't seen it from the Canadian side. The Canadian side is supposed to be better, and I haven't seen that.
I have heard that, and we have. You guys saw it from the other side, right?
I saw it from this side.
I wasn't there. I didn't see it. Still in the calls.
So are you guys out of the van now? You got tour bus?
No.
Oh.
We had an RV for a while, and it was just like maybe the worst investment I'll ever make.
Kept breaking down.
Everything.
It was awful.
Anything.
The first trip we took out. Shout out to Thor Axis. Thor Axis. They have screws falling from the ceiling our very first ride out, and it was brand new.
In our last ride, the heat didn't work, so we were all standing around the stove driving down the highway.
There was a blizzard in Colorado, and avalanche covered a highway, so we had to take back roads through snow and ice to get to where we needed to go. And we were on this small snowy pathway in the middle of nowhere. We didn't have heat in the RVs, or we were all crowding around the little like stove oven. Like we're all getting like headaches and shit, but it was either that or like die. And after we finally made it out of that, which like if something had gone wrong, like very real could have made it that night. We're like, we're not. This is done. We're retiring it. And then I sold it to
the glamour of the industry is boundless.
Dude, it happens out there. It's real out there. If you don't know.
See, and the hard part is you can't even get to the gig and be like, oh, you're not going to believe what happened to us. They're like, sing your fucking Novocaine song, monkey. We don't give a shit about your problems.
My fingers, they're black and blue.
Cool. I like Vivaldi, The Four Seasons, and I saw them perform it in Saint-Chapelle. It's a church in Paris. So it was super neat, right? But it was so fucking cold. They handed out blankets, I remember. It was so cold. So the instruments are out of tune within like 1 second. And the guys, I remember they were like trying to play it quick, I think, because they're like, this gig sucks. This is cold. But it was cool. I don't know. I like that one.
Fingers for every single thing in there. Why was it so cold? Was it outside?
The church is, there's no heating or anything in there.
That's right.
Yeah,
just so old.
You're a
stone
from the Renaissance, so it was a neat experience. I really liked it, but I remember enjoying it, but also happy when it was over. I could get a little warmth back because it was like my nose is frozen here, man. So I don't know the roots. So let's see what else we got here. Okay, so here's a funny one. I think it's funny. I don't know. You guys might be like, that's not funny. But when my friend was talking to his cat the other day, right? And he's like, oh, little cootie little cat, little buddy. And I was thinking, like, what if like dog language or whatever sounded like Rammstein, where the dog was like, yo, du hast. And then you're like, oh, little booty.
See that barking back at you?
Yeah, well, the bark is kind of ferocious. I don't know why people are like, oh, little pumpkin bear, let's go take you to go poopy. And they're kind of like, du hast, bitch.
Yeah. It's like a Rottweiler. Yeah.
The Rottweiler would be better if the Rottweiler sounds like Debbie Gibson or something.
Kind of like the tiny little.
Yeah, and that's the dog talk.
It's like the Healy Mike Tyson or something. Hey, let's go out. Let's go out to the yard.
You gotta love Mike Tyson.
I do love Mike Tyson. I got into like a black hole of like Mike Tyson knowledge, and he's so much more fascinating than you could even imagine. Like the dude is actually like pretty intelligent. Like you would not imagine.
He's a chess player, and I was like, huh. There's a photo online of him and Arnold Schwarzenegger playing chess, and I'm like, that's kind of fun.
I would love to hear the conversation happening during that game. Right?
You think they were trash talking?
Probably.
Oh, you'd have to think so.
Well, bitch, I got you.
Get to the chopper. It's not funny, Mike. It's not funny.
It's all taglines.
Taking you out. Yeah, I read another one. It was, I guess Brad Pitt was banging Mike Tyson's wife or something, and he came home.
Bold.
Whoa, that must have been scary. Can you imagine Brad Pitt being like, oh my God, you're married to fucking Mike Tyson? Or he would have known is the other side of it. So that means it's like he still went for the gold. Go.
Dude, that is
he's Brad Pitt. He can get anything. He has to put a little danger in there.
Yeah, maybe that was what I was about to say. That's pretty damn arrogant of Brad Pitt to go out.
He probably knew Mike Tyson was coming back, and he just wanted to feel a little something.
He just shows up there and he's like petting Mike Tyson's tiger in like silk sheets with his wife. Like, oh, hey, Mike, what's up, Mike?
I did Fight Club. I can take a whooping.
Yeah.
Bring it on, modern Mike. Where are the pigeons? Just wondering. This is a big house. I've been here for hours. Remember that one in what's the movie where how do you turn your spawn? Talladega Nights. Remember Talladega Nights where he takes the house over? I can't figure out how to turn the spawn the TV on at the same time. God, man, it was so funny. So of the tours and the guys you've worked with, like what were the bands that you guys have played with so far that really excited you? Because before you went on the tour, so you were thinking, man, we're gonna get to do this. This is neat. Like I personally like Offspring, so I thought the Offspring would be cool.
Awesome, because they just have so many hits, man. They have so many hits.
Yeah, you always forget how many like hits some of these bands have, and you see them like, I know every single one of these songs. Because like the Offspring dominated alternative radio since like its inception. So like they just just hit after hit.
And it was them and Sublime, so it was like,
and then just even more hits.
So many hits.
And then you got these drunk little teenagers running around like us on stage, just
getting in the way.
Yeah, they're like, go back to your broken RV.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's crazy. That it was like we played at Jones Beach in New Jersey, and there was like over 10,000 people there. Wow, I was like, it's not a bad opening gig.
But Fall Out Boy was really cool too because we got to do the Ryman with them, and that was, I think we were so young we didn't realize what the Ryman was.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
but that was the only time we'll ever play there.
Yeah, exactly. But that was pretty cool. Looking back on that one.
Yeah.
How did you do the Korean? How did that? Who booked that gig?
You probably booked that gig. That was like very early days.
I definitely booked that gig. They were gonna pay us, so I was like, yeah, let's do it. You know.
And we had like little helpers because it was like the Korean kids who like went to the church like really just wanted to like be our like personal assistants. So they were constantly running and like getting us things that we didn't ask for. Just like playing the I don't know. They're like,
I got you beef jerky because you're from Texas. Thanks.
I think we were like 17. We were pretty young.
We were like super young. Yeah, that's cool.
They fed us though too. A lot of good food.
It's delicious. It was a good time. Shout out to the Korean church.
Yeah.
You guys do any wind-up stuff on stage? Has there been any fun stuff that you guys have pulled?
Oh yeah, we really went hard against Blue October.
We had a big prank war with them.
We had a big prank war because Justin, he like came into our van acting like it was some like nostalgia thing for him to get into a van. He's like, oh man, I haven't been
so many years.
Yeah, I remember it all started in here, and like we were like, oh, it's so cool. He's in our van right now. And then he left, and I was cleaning out the van at the next truck stop, and I look under the seat, and I see Elmo, and I'm like, what? And I reach in there, and it's a loaded, dirty baby diaper stuck underneath our bench seat.
He had his kids with him on tour.
And I was just like, it's on. He started it. You don't even know. We have so much free time in our shitty van to think about things. And, we brought hell down upon them the last day of tour. It started. Oh wait, no. The first prank was the bike thing.
Oh yeah, we because we got Justin's number, so we put up a free bike in
San Francisco
on Craigslist.
Very bike friendly city. We said this bike is the color blue. The shade is blue, and it's only for the month of October. Can you get it? Because it was October, and he got
hundreds of calls.
He got so many calls that he had to like stop using that number temporarily. So that was good. Then they're signing on the last day. We super glued all the pens to the table. So they sat down for their signing, and like all the pens on the table, and their guitars. Like,
I like that one.
What else did we do? Because the baby diaper thing, during their like encore or whatever, we all put on adult diapers and ate like phallic shaped food side stage, trying to get their attention.
It was like a very emotional part of their song, and we're like
eats the ballad,
carrots and baby diapers, and
bananas and stuff, and that was pretty good. And then what did they do? They just wrapped our van.
They saran wrapped our van
and put peanut butter under the handles.
Amateur.
Yeah, amateur hour for sure.
Yeah, you won that war.
You won that one.
That war. I put on a diaper for you, man.
Dude, that is too much commitment, arguably, but it was.
So, question. So, I was going to put together this podcast, and my buddy's 5th grade daughter said you should ask every person who comes on when they first felt famous, and it's been a really good question thus far. So, it doesn't have to be fame. It could just be a pivotal moment in your career, or some time that meant something to you that comes to mind. Which would each of you guys pick as a moment that you were proud of?
Probably the first big show we played was in Colorado. It was a radio show. We'd done a lot of radio shows, but nothing. There's like, I think over 10,000 people there, and just going out and looking out and being like, whoa, like that's a sea of people, and we're about to fucking play for them. That was definitely it. It's in the memory bank.
Yeah. That was I think the most like, I don't know about like famous, but like the most like we made it kind of moment, like cliche one was like, before we got signed, we played South by Southwest in Austin, and we played this small place called the Firehouse venue, which there's no stage, it's just the floor, and it was packed like wall to wall, and we put on like maybe one of the best shows we've ever done. And then the second that we like went out into the alley behind the venue, like we had like 3 or 4, 5 different A&Rs from different record companies like coming up to us, just like kind of like, you know, drooling on us, like, oh, we need to talk, like, we'll be in contact with you. And we're like walking around, we're drunk as shit, like hanging out with our friends at the same time. And I was like, yeah, this is what I deserve. This is the Rockstar moment right here. And then 2 days later, we were like in New York trying out for labels. So I was like, this felt like the most cliche rock and roll, like origin moment right there. So that was cool.
Fast. It's funny when things go right. It's just quick.
Oh, crazy.
Yeah. So what's next? You're touring now?
Yeah, we're on the road right now, and we got October booked. We got January West Coast.
Got a video coming out.
Just shot a video for our new single Gemini.
Yeah.
That'll be out in probably next month sometime.
Yeah. Got an album coming out. You know. Yeah.
Our first
of next year. Yeah, we got stuff going on.
Good. Yeah, real good.
We can.
Yeah. All right. Well, I really appreciate your guys' time, unless you have any other stories you want to share, but those were good ones. So I like the pens. I don't know. I just picture these guys sitting down and being like, fuckers. And then they're like, oh, damn, they did every pen.
Yeah, we're like little children, like peeking over the balcony, like watching them like trying
laughing our ass off.
That was great. But I think I don't know. I think the guitarist got pissed because like maybe some of that glue got on his fingers.
Yeah, he wasn't
like his like pick fingers, and he was actually pissed. I think he was legit pissed.
That just makes it better.
I know. I know. It was.
Yeah, it makes it better. And did they get through the song without laughing when they saw you guys in the diapers?
Everyone except for Justin, the lead singer, because he's so intense and like in the moment. So I really wanted to try and break him, but like he didn't even phase.
Everyone else was laughing.
Shark in the water, not, nothing. Yeah, but everybody else was dying. This hilarious. We looked like idiots. That's the point. So
we were afraid he was going to grab us and bring us out on stage, though. If he saw us, that would have been what would have happened. Yeah,
I would have done that for sure.
We shouldn't have just rushed the stage, but also like he's so in that moment. Like I was like, I don't want to I don't want to overstep my bounds.
It was like our first tour. We didn't know.
Yeah, we didn't know how far we could take it.
Usually pretty far.
Yeah, if you're in a baby diaper, anything's game. So
you guys should have done the set in the diapers.
That'd been good too.
You'd be like, what the fuck's wrong with these guys? And I'm like, oh, you have no idea. We're warming up. We're just getting ready. How many roadies do you guys got?
Us?
Yeah, how many you got? What I'm gonna guess 2.
0, bro. We're
So
all
you're using like the headliners, LD, and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, dude.
We bring our photographer with us sometimes, and he does merch and stuff, but we run it all.
Sometimes we have a tour manager, but usually it's Jared, our bassist, is our tour manager.
On bigger tours, we'll have somebody come out and work for us, but
we are our own roadies.
Yeah, so it's the locals doing the sound and the lighting from front of house.
They usually do it pretty good. Yeah, they do all right.
That's good. And then on the tours, then you'll have you'll use the headliners guys.
Yeah, just pay them.
Yeah, just pay them.
Huh. I mean, I guess it makes sense. But I remember with we did a show with what's the name of their band? Fuel. And they didn't really have anybody. They were little. And I liked them, man. I thought their music was cool, and I liked them. And I remember helping them out with everything. And it's cool because it's like I'm getting paid to be there anyway. But it's nice when it's like they're so appreciative because we're like, man, we have to do this shit ourselves every day.
Yeah.
They're like, thank you, man.
Once the pros like help out, because it's it's such a treat to be able to use like someone's like sound guy and have like a pro sound and lights every night. And then like someone's guitar messes up and their tech is like,
helping us out.
"Oh, come here, I'll help you out, poor children." And he like goes and fixes it like in 10 seconds. We're like, this is what it's like. That's how I'll know I've made it. Is when we have all of that. Like that's how I'll know that we've like actually made it.
It's like this is like what it's like when you don't order from the 99-cent menu.
Yeah,
I always knew that $4 burrito was good. I always knew.
Premium entrees from now on out. Special menu items only.
I tell people if you want to read all that shit, get the Motley Crue book. It's fucking cool.
Yeah, dude, we both read that and like that's.
I read that book and I was like, all right, I'm gonna act like I'm in Motley Crue for the next 3 months, and then I couldn't make it.
Yeah, it's a crazy lifestyle. I toured with Poison, and so some of the stories that they had back in the 80s was just like crazy. So, and then some of it was like, I don't remember if it was Poison, but there was this story. Who could come higher on the bathroom wall in the bus? How many fucking drugs do you do where you're like, I got an idea, dude. I got an idea.
A lot of free time on the road, you know?
Wow.
Come up with crazy ideas.
I don't know. We had one, it was the Puppy Dog Project. And so what we would do is we'd get little puppy dog, a different one in every show we put on the rider. So we'd cruise around the audience with a brand new puppy. And I mean, it's the chick magnet to the max, man. Puppy Dog Project. And I'd be like, what's his name? Max. I don't know. I just met him. And that was a really good one. That one was really fun. Plus, you're hanging out with a puppy, man. It was kind of cool. It was cool. Yeah.
That is the best. Jared,
add that to our writer.
We have that on our writer now. Puppy
Dog Project.
He didn't say anything. He just kind of made one of these faces and then walked away.
Who booked this interview?
I think that's
And no, man, just that we couldn't get it. I wanted a helicopter ride. I thought that'd be cool.
We're stoked about a golf cart ride, you know?
Yeah.
Golf carts are pretty plimp, man.
We stole one at Bonnaroo once. That was a good time.
That was good.
So we stole one in Portland, Oregon, but we didn't know it was the promoter's personal golf cart. And we were.
That's what we don't steal.
That's the only one he didn't.
We found that out later. He was really, really angry. He found no humor in us taking his golf cart. Like really, really angry. Like, well, you shouldn't be looking at the video surveillance cameras then, because you're going to be really, really angry. We were doing burnouts in it and stuff. It was wonderful. Where'd you guys get the one in Bonnaroo? You just grabbed one that was sitting?
They had like a little corral of them, and we found one that like wasn't like attached to anything. And as we were taking it, the lady that like worked for Bonnaroo saw us, and she was like,
"What the fuck you guys doing?"
Like, "What are you guys doing?" And we're like, we just went. We just
nothing to see here.
We like froze, and then we just kicked it into gear and buzzed off. And then we just went around like picking up people that were trying to get to their tents, because it's a long walk from like Bonnaroo to the tents. We're just picking up drunk people and taking them out to like wherever they were. And we helped some girl get to the airport on time because there was no way she was going to make her bus. Like, we're just basically running around drunk, doing good deeds.
Good Samaritans.
Yeah. You know?
Wonderful, guys. Texas. Actually, I got one question. I have a real question. I got one real question the whole interview, but I got one. So on your Wikipedia that I read through, you guys, it kind of makes you sound like you're anti-country music. I'm assuming you're not anti-country. You just didn't do country songs. But are you anti-country or why?
Yeah, does this look anti-country?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
I don't know. There's some good country music.
I think we were just in high school too. Like, we didn't want to be part of that because that's what it's all around.
I hated country music. No lie, I hated it. And then I went to college for 2 years, and Cole went to like a college in that area. It was in College Station, Texas, and there's nothing out there but beer and country music and shit kickers and oil and the military. So it's like maybe just like, it's like you took every conservative thing into a blender and then just pasted it out all over this little town in the middle of nowhere. And there was only country music there. So we kind of had just by being in that, it kind of sunk into our bones a little bit. And like we got so desperate because there's only one place to play in town and no one would ever go there. That's where we played. Like we're like, should we start like a country band? Like this might be the only way to get girls with this music thing and like actually play shows that people come to. And then after like a brief moment of like crisis, like personality crisis, we're like, no, we're not going to start a country band.
That's a good answer.
Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, guys, thank you. I really do appreciate it. That was fun. Stay in touch. If you got any buddies who you think would be good to come on, tell me or tell them to get a hold of me. And
What was the name of your book?
Memoir of a Roadie. And if you want, I can email you a PDF if you want. Or, I did do an audio book, and it's people seem to like it, but honestly, it's really hard. You know, it's 500-page book. So narrating a 500-page book, it was so much harder than I thought.
And you read it?
Yeah, I read it because I figured, honestly, I thought it would be easy. And I just reading the book, but I read through it once and then I had to move. So the sound changed. So I had to start over. Yeah. But then when I listened to it, which I should have started listening right out of the gates, I'm like, fuck, I'm boring. But I was boring because I was trying to sound eloquent and be like, you know, and then he said, jiggle those titties. So then I started reading it. Like, if I act this out, it's a lot better. So then I started acting it out. And then I was like, I can act better than this, you know? So then I started really trying. So then like my girlfriend's favorite, her and her girlfriend's like, cause I'm downstairs and I'm like, jiggle those titties. And it kept out. So I had to keep doing it over because it kept hitting the red bar. So I'm doing it over, jiggle. And she's just looking down the stairs. She's like, what? I'm like, oh,
20.
Just working. There was one was good too the other day. So I started TikTok here because I'm trying to promote this fucking podcast thing. I don't know how to do all this shit. So I was getting TikTok and I'm looking and it's this girl and she takes her leg, she sticks it over her head. And I'm kind of like, wow, you know, what are you doing? I'm like researching. And then I was telling somebody this story on here and I'm like, I don't know. I get on TikTok and it's like all these girls, like that's my whole TikTok, like getting naked. And they're like, you do know that like you program that. So it comes to you because that's what you're looking for. And I was like, oh. So, well, no, I didn't do it. And they're like, yeah, you kind of fucking pro. I'm like, oh shit, seriously?
Somebody must have grabbed my phone or something.
I don't know what happened here. Actually, I don't think they get naked. I don't know. I don't think you're allowed to get naked on TikTok.
The default like TikTok setting, because that's how ours was until we started like picking stuff that we actually liked. They're just like,
I've never got into it. I was getting on because I had this kid who was doing promos on there, and so I got on to see what he was doing. And that's the only time I've ever looked at it. So probably the settings are from that intern kid. That would make more sense. So pass the buck, you know, that guy did it.
Kid, intern, easy.
Yeah, blame the intern. Now that it's just me though, I'm the one editing it and doing everything. But I found it's honestly easier just to do it myself than to do it. Yeah, because these guys, they pick a promo and it'd be like out of this interview, let's say that they'd pick me in the beginning, like I'm so hungover. But they picked the word. I'm like, why would you pick that? What was interesting? So I did one. The guy was Gigi Allen's drummer. And now he's been with Weezer for 14 years or whatever. This guy was fascinating, man. His stories were awesome. He took Gigi Allen to a Christmas party, a company Christmas party. So his stories were so good. And the kid picks a story where their tour bus got stuck on a railroad. And I'm kind of like,
that's the story.
What the fuck compelled you to think that was good? And then he spelled the Beatles wrong. So I'm like, bro, it's a music podcast. You can't be spelling the fucking Beatles wrong.
You should hold on to this like invisible like intern though. If anything goes wrong, be like, my intern Gerald. I'm firing this time. I swear. I give the kid one more chance.
You know, it's funny because I had a few of them. I had one. I guess he's not gonna get a hold of me again, but they'll say, yeah, I don't really like music. Like, who the fuck says I don't like music, you know?
Yeah, I trust that person.
It's weird. But they're all like, yeah, you know, I don't really like music. I'm like, all right. Have you ever heard of Guns N' Roses? Yeah, I think so. I'm like, how the
sell that shirt at Urban Outfitters?
Yeah, right. I mean, how could that was actually what I said. I'm like, how could you have never seen a Guns shirt? I mean, and then think like, wow, what's up with that? I don't know. You could say, oh, I don't like country, I don't like this or whatever. How could you just say I don't like music? It's very, very strange.
It was that happened in my English class. You had to like make like a board or whatever, like of all the things that you like or whatever. And everyone had there was a music category. We had to put like your favorite music. I put all my people. Some kid brought a board to class where it's just a leaf, and like we're all like, what's with the leaf? He's like, I don't listen to music, so I just put this leaf to represent like the wind. Everyone in the class is like,
that guy's a psychopath.
Yeah, even my teacher,
that's the guy not to piss off.
She's like, I don't know about that. Like we're all shook. We're all shook. Dude, just listening to the wind here.
Okay, he's definitely in prison now.
Yeah, he's definitely killed someone.
Yeah.
The leaf. So you guys all went to school together?
Just us two. The rest of them,
the other guys.
Side of the road.
Yeah, we pick them up in various shitholes and bring them into our little scraggly band.
That's good.
It was just like managers stuff.
What state are you in? Where are you guys?
We're in Texas.
We're in Iowa right now.
We're in Iowa, but we're from Texas. We're actually from Fort Worth, Texas, where Towns Van Sant is from.
Yeah, it's cool. I know. I really got down. Towns Van Sant totally changed the way I listened to music. I was into it. And then I loved Buddy Holly for a long time. And so I don't know. Texas is good music comes out of Texas, man.
Yeah. Robert O'Keefe, Pantera, Toadies, ZZ Top, Beyonce, Stevie Ray Vaughan. We got all kinds. Post Malone more recently. We opened up for the Dirty Heads. We had a song with them, and people they're the weed band, you know, in our genre. They're like the weed band, and only a couple of them smoke weed still. But I'd be on there and people be throwing like joints and whatever, and like someone threw a joint on stage while I was like up there, and like Duddy, the lead guitarist, is like, yeah, go grab it, and I was like, have it? And he's like, yeah, grab it. And I grabbed it, and these people started screaming at me from the front row. They're like, no, that's not for you. No. And I was like, oh. And back down. But then as I was getting off the stage, Duddy's like, go grab it. So I grabbed it, and I was smoking it. And then we were high, and I got very paranoid that maybe there was something special for Duddy in there.
That's why I was just going to say, that's scary to me.
This was like, they were trying to drug Duddy, and then like, all of us was like, you feel okay? Like, I feel okay. You feel okay? I was like, I don't know, man. I think my heart's racing. The more we talk about this, I'm starting to get really upset right now. I'm really nice. It was fine. We were fine.
Yeah, I would never. It was one of the roadie stories. He had worked for Robert Plant, or he knew somebody who did or something. And his only job was to give Robert Plant an unopened bottle of water. And it was because someone gave him water back in the 60s that was LSD or something. And so he wants an unopened bottle. He wants to hear the click, click, click. And I was like, huh.
That sucks to have to like worry about shit like that. Like,
it kind of does. I mean, I remember in Texas, this dude brought all this barbecue, trays and trays of awesome barbecue. And the band was like, thank you. And we weren't allowed to touch it. We had to throw everything away. And I'm like, God, this is criminal. I mean, it looked so good. They're like, nah, all of it goes in the garbage. You're not allowed to touch it.
Damn.
I was a bum. I don't know if the band even knew, but my boss, we had to throw it all out.
That's so hurtful. Like, to see all that Texas barbecue, especially because you're in Texas. Yeah. Like, we have like the best barbecue. All the other states can suck it. Yeah, we have the best barbecue. That's Mexican. And you had to dump that. That's just.
It's criminal.
It's wrong.
But it's weird to take food from fans like that.
It is. We always eat it because we're animals and we don't care about our health or lives. So like whenever we're given food from fans, we just devour it. I usually wait like maybe an hour.
Until somebody else eats it first.
I wait an hour because I know that Jared's going to get in there first. I see how he's doing. He's kind of like the jester at the court. Taste test the king's food. And then I'll come in there towards the end when everyone's slowed down. I just like, I take the rest.
Does he look green? No, he doesn't look green. All right, let's eat it.
He's surviving.
He's blue. He's like,
Yeah, he looks all right. I don't know. I'll give it a go. All right, guys. Well, thanks. Hope your next gig goes good. Hope your foot gets better.
thanks, man.
Cheers, buddy.
Later, homie. We'll talk to you.
Cool. Hey, thanks for watching Party Like a Rockstar. If you're not already subscribed to the Facebook or YouTube channels, do it. We're also on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. The handle is Party of Stars. Thanks for watching. See you next time.